Will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
What's up, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope you guys are doing well out there on this cold midweek Wednesday. Doing pretty good myself. Well, you heard your boy Trump. He seems to be trailblazing these days in his first week back in the office. You know, he signed these executive orders proclaiming there are only two biological sexes, halting diversity programs. You see, meaning he's going to take funding from these programs that's going to be, making these changes with people who feel that they're certain ways but weren't born that way. You see, and the White House officials grouped, both orders under the Trump administration, wider restoring sanity agenda. Okay, that's what they're actually calling this, restoring sanctity. I have to agree. You understand? I mean, we cannot negate that if you were born a male and that you want to some kind of way through science turn yourself into a female or vice versa, that is sanity. It's really not, or even walk around and expect for people to accept you as being a male when you're a female, or a female when you're a male, and downright, demanding that these people accept that. Now, it's one thing for you to feel and do as you want to. That's your choice, in life. But what you don't have the right to do is make others comply, with your agenda. And that's the problem with the alphabet community as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? You want to make your agenda, you forcing your agenda on people to where, it's not fair to heterosexual people. That's what it all boils down to, Now, since Trump has signed this executive order declaring, male and female, that's what the only way that America is going to recognize. And that's basically what it boils down to. And it's true. This is how people come about between a male and a female. But these, the alphabet people seem to be up in arms about this. They don't think that this is right. They feel like Trump wants to annihilate them off the earth. I don't think he wants to annihilate you off the earth. He just wants to restore what it is, before this gets too far out of hand. Okay? And I think that's what it is. We even have so-called bishops. One in particular, her last name is Buddies. Okay, and it's her, and she's standing up in the pulpit addressing Trump just because of him signing this executive order. What I want us to do is check out this particular clip, and then another clip, and then we're going to get back to the commentary.
Welcome back. President Trump on the move for his first full day in the White House today. Moments ago, the president left the traditional national prayer service over at the Washington National Cathedral. And there's a powerful admonition by Bishop Marianne Buddy that we want to let you hear as she stood toe-to-toe with the president. Watch this.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here.
So let's go live to CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang. Weijia, this is a president who does not like to be admonished, does not like to be told what to do. Do we have an early readout to his reaction to those very powerful words there at that church service? He was on the front row.
Yeah, Reed, well, that church service just wrapped up a short time ago, so we have not heard directly from President Trump, but you're right in that he does not like to be on the receiving end of any kind of criticism, and perhaps you could read that in a different way, but I imagine that he could also interpret it as a commentary on some of the executive orders that he has already taken and spoke about yesterday at length during his first day in office. Of course, the pastor there talking about LGBTQ rights, as well as mercy for refugees and immigrants. And we know that President Trump has signed a flurry of executive orders targeting both of those groups. And so even though there is an expectation of a separation between church and state, I think in this case, because the Episcopal faith is very in line with opening arms and welcoming people from everywhere and immigrants and refugees, I think she could argue that this was not a political statement, but a religious one. Reed.
We also want to go from business and some of these social policies, to business now. CBS News has learned that Trump is set to announce billions of dollars in private sector investments to build AI intelligence infrastructure in the United States. We saw so many major tech bosses there, shoulder to shoulder with past presidents and lawmakers and cabinet positions. So we know tech is big. Talk to us about what those private sector investments look like, especially where AI is concerned.
Yeah, they were in the front row during inauguration, Reed, and more tech CEOs will be visiting the White House today, including Sam Altman. He's the CEO of OpenAI, because this investment by the Trump administration is solely focused on building out the infrastructure for the country to be able to expand artificial intelligence in a responsible way. Our colleague Jennifer Jacobs actually scooped this just a short time ago, because initially we only knew that it was going to be some sort of announcement on infrastructure. Of course, when you hear that word, you automatically think about bridges and roads and the things that are built throughout this country to keep those things going, waterways. But because this is the dawn of a new era when it comes to technology, it makes sense that the country has to make these investments to be able to handle the many roads that AI could take us on. And so we expect to hear from the president on this afternoon around 4:30, Reed.
All right, Weijia Jiang, thank you so much. A report from the White House, so much that we could unpack, but glad we had a minute to talk about a couple of major things. Good to see you, my friend.
You just heard President Trump signaling sweeping changes.
Yeah, and as you just saw in the video, he's been busy signing executive orders relating to freedom of speech, ending weaponization of government, and much more. Now, the president has also addressed gender roles for his second term.
WVTM 13's Bryce Oselin is live and local with reaction and a breakdown of the executive order now in place. Bryce?
President Trump has signed an executive order proclaiming two genders in the United States. The Trump administration referring to it as the Restoring Sanity Agenda, but not everyone agrees with the president's policy.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
It's the first day of the inauguration. I thought it would be a time for him to be celebrating himself and not attacking community and marginalized communities across America.
A new executive order declares only two genders in the United States, male and female. Central Alabama Pride President Josh Coleman not happy with saying it singles out the transgender community.
This is only an attack on the LGBTQ community, plain and simple.
The order aims to require the federal government to use the word sex instead of gender, and it directs the State Department and the Department of Homeland Security to ensure that official government documents such as passports and visas reflect a person's sex accurately.
The reality is the president can't erase non-binary and transgender people with a stroke of a pen. He can't erase them no matter how bad he wants to. It's a rallying call to his base and isn't based in science or fact.
In 2022, the Biden administration allowed U.S. citizens to select the gender-neutral X as a marker on their passports. The new order will remove that option. It will also prevent taxpayer funds from being used for gender transition healthcare. Coleman says the organization will continue to provide resources for members of the LGBTQ community.
My message to folks in the community is that you're loved, you're accepted, you have people here locally who want to be your family, who want to be your community.
And today we attempted to speak with multiple members of the LGBTQ community. Most told me they were too angry to address the topic. Live in Birmingham, Bryce Oselin, WVTM 13.
Now the Most High words specifically says, be not partakers in their sins. Other words, do not partake in somebody else's sins and what they're doing. But when you have a system that's taking your taxpayer dollars, funding something that is not deemed as righteous in the Most High's eyes, then you're being forced into it. Okay? Now, it's like I said, I don't believe that Trump is actually trying to erase, this community. I don't. But what he is saying is what we're going to do is represent this nation, this country, as a male and female country, the way the Most High made things. That's all this really boils down to, and that's fair and that's righteous right there, and I do agree with Trump on that. Okay? See, just like with civil rights was actually created for those of the so-called black community, which is us. Okay? That's what it was created for. But when the devil gets into the details of things, it gets twisted around and gets used for other agendas that it wasn't meant for. And this is something that they've hitched to black people with the civil rights. You see, using this agenda compared it to civil rights. No, that's not. Now, it's your right, like I said, to choose what you want to do and how you want to live. But what you don't have a right to do is turn around and make someone accept your rights. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have the right to do that. You know, if nobody's coming at you per se, and you're living like you want to live, that's on you. But you don't have the right to make someone accept that. Like this particular thing right here. You see before you, I will not be addressing you by your chosen pronouns. If you look like a man, it's sir. If you look like a woman, it's ma'am. It's not my job to validate your mental illness. Okay? That's basically what it all boils down to. But we've seen countless videos. I've seen one video where one of those people, they went into some kind of store. It was a man dressed as a woman, and the clerk there, dressed him as sir, and he got mad about it, started tearing up the place as if he had a right to do that. That was violations of that store clerk's right and that entire store right there, just because. You see, this is the problem right here. So, I can see fully and clear what Trump is doing right here, right there. And I do agree with him on it in this particular thing right here. I really do. You don't have a right to force yourself, your agenda, and make people accept it. You really don't. You don't have the right to be a man and dress up as a woman and go into a woman's restroom. You don't have a right to do that. You don't have a right to be a woman and dress as a man and walk into the men's restroom. You don't have a right. That's what I'm talking about when I say force your agenda. You don't have a right to do that. That's wrong. So, this is what it is. That's all I got on this one, people. I want you guys to tell me what you think about this particular video right here. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on it. Comment if you can, but make sure you like, share, and subscribe. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched. Simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.